Hello, welcome to another video on the Scouring Early Access. Today's match is going to be 1 versus 1 match between me, the Perfect Gamer, and my ally, Waters. And pretty much this is gonna be a new season of Ranked. And for some reason the Ranked mode mod was discontinued. Well, I'm not sure what's happening to it, but Ranked mode is now in Classic, and so it's gonna be a 1v1 classic match. Anyways, this is also turned on for Overseer's mode, which is everyone's least favorite script, but I guess I still decided to play. And I'm playing as humans, yellow as well, so I was thinking of doing a Cavalier build order where I make a few swordsmen, then try to get a fast tier 2 to get a stables, and then have somewhat early Cavalier production. And over here, my blue enemy, Waters, playing as humans. Looks like he went for a archer build order. And I guess a small advantage of doing the archer start is they can start, I guess, clearing the map a bit sooner, just like he's doing here. He's baiting these bandits to his barracks. Just gonna allow him to just safely start killing neutrals already. Though in the meantime, I still have to get at least 5 or more swordsmen to begin clearing. Out over here you can see this is why no one likes the Overseer script. It's going to be auto unpredictable. You can just kill your own units here. The Ice Storm. So we saw you lost 3 archers. And all these bandits here. So I was going to be clearing the map auto slower. But at least he did get the gold from all these bandits dying to the Ice Storm of the Overseer. And only now I begin, I guess, clearing some neutrals, fighting these bandits. I guess I have around 9 swordsmen here. I usually do around 5 swordsmen on other maps, but dealing with this bandit camp was a little annoying. Using only 5 swordsmen, so I made a few more. So I'm getting the tier 2. Auto slower, but still pretty good. And over here I start going to this expansion to try and clear this outpost from these bandits. As you can see here, slightly, I guess, unbalanced, you could say. These bandits are kind of hugging this gold here, so you're forced to kind of clear them to mine here. But on the other side of the map, you don't even have to fight this outpost to make a base. You can see they're kind of being pretty far from this gold, so you're never gonna attack your workers. Anyways, here my enemy is making expansion pretty quickly, and pretty much his expansion is gonna finish up right just about as I'm gonna be starting my own expansion. And I started the stables, go slowly, but I guess I was focused on getting out a few more workers instead of trying to get the stables out faster to then make a few Cavaliers. Now here I begin clearing the neutrals on my next 2 gold mines, you could say, or potential gold bases. This way I wouldn't have to think about clearing them in the future, because I would know they're already cleared. I could easily go on and expand. And over here you can see My enemy has all the archers. Took this outpost. Maybe even this one. But these outposts are kind of useless. Because you can easily walk around here and pretty much ignore it. Similar to this outpost, where you can just run through here. There's gonna no point of even going this direction anyways. In the meantime, I find my enemy, and of course, I do get to feed him a single swordsman. But about this outpost, it also doesn't really give you any information. I have no vision of the middle here even, so these two outposts in the middle are kind of pointless. And then these two outposts on the sides don't really hold any choke points because you can just walk around here. So maybe you could add a gold here, so there will be a point to hold this outpost. And maybe move this outpost closer to this bridge, so you could actually hold a choke point here, potentially. But it's just my suggestions. And a map maker can do whatever he wants. Anyways, over here, I have a good amount of swordsmen. I believe I already get the charge ability, so... Or maybe I'm going to be getting it, but... Swordsmen are kind of useless if you don't have a charge. Especially against archers, so... Just want to usually get it. Yeah, so I'm getting it now. Here you can see the worker count. I have 16 here. Around 5. My enemy has around 5 and 13 here, so somehow I have more workers getting gold, even though he did have his expansion way sooner than I did. But I guess you can see here that he invested into a second barracks, so he can produce a few more units than me, and he's also getting a smithy, so he's probably thinking of getting a tier 3 or maybe a cannon or 2. Anyways, over here, I'm trying to go to the west here. I guess because I was more maybe thinking of having a fight against my enemy, because he didn't really know if I still had cavaliers or not. So I could have, I guess, somewhat surprised him.
Research complete.
But I guess I did a mistake here, and I went too close. And this outpost kind of showed him my whole army. So I didn't kind of throw away my army here pointlessly. I pretty much lose all my cavaliers, all these swordsmen. Like maybe around 3 or 4 swordsmen of the blue player. And so this was just a terrible fight. You can see I have 500 supply. And yet blue has roughly 200 more supply than me already. Sounds pretty horrible, but I guess still not over, because I have faster cavalier production compared to my enemy, who's still making ground units, and only now he starts making stables. It's not really, only now starts making a few more workers. And over here you can see he's moving across the map to try and maybe attack me, because I did lose a whole lot of units and he lost very few. You can see he's a professional player. Got some scouts here to see if I sneak some units past here, but it is on overseer's mode, and so it's kind of hard to send any kind of raids, because they're gonna get kind of destroyed thanks to this overseer. And over here, I was somewhat expecting him to attack me, so I didn't make all the Cavaliers. Got 2 potion crates, so if I did have a fight, I would have a relatively low loss on my Cavaliers. And I guess over here, the enemy decides to retreat his archers. Gonna maybe send a run by. Maybe kill a building or a few workers here of mine. But now we can see that he just donates all these swordsmen for free, pretty much. And so this is where the game balances back. And we technically lost the same amount of swordsmen at this point. I even start a 3rd base. But these little pesky archers do and get to kill one of my workers. So I am somewhat getting slight economic lead because I'm already halfway done my 3rd base. But I don't have a smithy like my enemy. Then he does, so I can start his tier 3 a little faster. Which can be, I guess, a little decisive if he gets the cure ability faster and if he uses it to, I guess, have a pretty efficient fight. Over here I just sent my pack of horses here to try and see if he's sitting on this part of the map or if he's somewhat on the other side. And I did sneak him past here, so just like I said before, this outpost can be a little useless. And after seeing all these archers here, there's just nothing to catch here, so I just run back, try and hold this bridge. So any attacks through here, I can easily catch them. And over here, the blue enemy sends out a group of cavaliers to try and, I guess, do some kind of run by to try and kill my workers. And of course, the fun part of cavaliers is that you can catch them, your own cavaliers. So it can be, I guess, a kind of a cat and mouse type of fight. And of course over here, you can see there's a new issue. Some workers sometimes don't feel like shooting, just like this one. And so I'm gonna lose a few workers here because of that. But I guess it's not a big deal. And I do kill most of the cavaliers here. Lose pretty much no workers here. But I do get slowed down a little bit. And so all of my workers here, you can see, they weren't really mining, while in the meantime my enemy was mining. So probably mined maybe 1,000 or 500 gold by the time that I just put my workers back. Anyways, right here, oh, Mr. Blue already has a castle. So he did have a smithy, so I couldn't get a tier 3 a little faster. So already has it. In the meantime, I only started my tier 3, which means my cure ability is going to be very late. But I was always thinking of making a few castles. That way I could produce a lot of apprentices, which would give me, I guess, a slight edge in the fight. So here I have a 3rd barracks and a smithy. It's relatively calm, but of course, over here we see another raid of cavaliers. So he's just gonna be trying to distract me. Maybe slow down my macro, as we can see. Not really producing. And so this can be a little distracting. But he is going to be losing all these Cavaliers here, so eventually you're going to have to, I guess, see if it's worth losing 1,000 resources, maybe 1,200, all these Cavaliers, and all the potions on top of them as well. But I lose very few workers. Maybe, I guess this is quite a few, around 9 workers. But that's like 900 gold, and all these Cavaliers were roughly 1,200 gold, so it did work in my favor slightly. On over here, my enemy tried to do an attack here, but I guess he didn't really know that I had potions here, so I did maybe kill a few of his Cavaliers. But I guess I was having some issues with food because of these workers dying here, but I eventually get it on track. And over here you can see a big attack from the enemy trying to disrupt me. And of course I tried to get some barricades to slow them down, but this dumb little worker kind of opened the gates. It's a damn turncoat. Anyways, over here, I kind of forgot to put my workers back to work, but I guess it worked out for me because they needed to fire these Cavaliers here. But in the meantime here, these Cavaliers are going to be stopping me from mining, and of course stopping me from making this trench, so my cure ability is going to be way later researched, I guess, or slowed down. But eventually I do clean up these Cavaliers, and my enemy does lose a lot of, I guess, resources by losing them here, so technically he stopped me from getting gold, but he kind of lost a lot of gold, and he gave me all the gold by losing these units, so even though he slowed down my macro with each, I guess, following raid, I don't really lose, I guess, that much resources. I do lose, I guess, my flow of the game. You can see here, I have 1,000 supply. Mr. Blue has a very similar amount, but a good amount of his supply is made out of archers. But most of my army is mostly Cavaliers. Or literally all just Cavaliers, and I guess a few swordsmen to capture these outposts, which I guess I thought might as well take them to get some extra gold by killing those bandits. Now over here, Blue tried to do a run by, but I guess I just controlled my Cavaliers too well. And so eventually he's gonna lose these 4 Cavaliers, which is roughly 1,000 gold down the drain and about 160 wood. And of course, on top of that, I do get some gold by killing them. So, should always think if it's worth it to send out small groups of units and to, I guess, determine if it's worth the cost. Now here I'm starting getting this outpost because I did get or I was in the process of getting the cure ability. So I'm gonna eventually take this outpost. And we can see here, these Cavaliers kind of died for nothing. And that was roughly 5 Cavaliers as well. So another 1,000 down the drain. You can see here, my enemy does have a third base. And he already mined out his main base. But of course, he was distracting me. So my main base is only now running out. Now finally getting a few apprentices. Making it for one castle. And a second castle. And a third one. So I can quickly spam out a lot of apprentices. They're somewhat more useful. Because if finally got an auto attack that you can research the castle. Which can, I guess, somewhat make him auto useful. Now here, after seeing he has most of his army on top here, decide to do, I guess, some kind of raid myself. So I begin fighting him, but you can see the overseer can just destroy a good part of the army here with a single ice storm. And thanks to this slow effect, I can't really micro my cavaliers. You can see here, just devastating ice storm. Just got like 5 cavaliers. So this was somewhat of a terrible attack, but I guess I do stop him from getting some gold, and I am getting some gold by breaking this building. Thanks to the pillage upgrade that I got, which allows you to get gold by breaking buildings. So even though I'm gonna lose the rest of these cavaliers, they are gonna somewhat pay for themselves a little bit before dying. See where supply have around 1036. I guess Mr. Blue is around 200 supply more. So I did lose all the cavaliers in that little skirmish. Oh, and I guess over here this is a little unbalanced because you can't really run past this outpost without being seen, but you can run past here against this outpost. That's a little strange. Here I try to block off this bridge, but of course, just in time these cavaliers break through. And on the other side, my cannons didn't feel like firing, so I had to manually use them to fire at the cavaliers. So I guess my enemy tried to attack me from 2 sides, but I wasn't prepared. So he does lose about maybe 6 cavaliers, which is also a little pricey. But we can finally see here that my enemy is doing a big attack, a good amount of cavaliers, and a good reinforcement amount of archers, and a few apprentices, which can be pretty useful by giving your cavaliers the magic shield, which reduces incoming damage by 50%, which can allow your cavaliers to stay alive for a pretty long time. And over here my enemy tries to attack, and I try to bait him in here, or I guess maybe let him walk in here. That way I can surround him from the right with my reinforcements, and from my main army from the left. So I begin fighting here, but of course on the other side he does a big run by, and so I don't have that many units to deal with this. Just my reinforcements. But over here on the left side, I do win this battle, but of course the overseer kills 3 of my cavaliers instead of killing any of his. But after getting a pretty good surround, I do get to win this big battle. But of course, because I had most of my units here, I do win here, but at my main base. I'm getting a little overwhelmed by his numbers, but he's also stealing my gold here, which is also a pretty interesting mechanic where you can take the gold from your enemy if they don't use it fast enough, or if you have all the gold in your bank or whatever you call it. Right over here you can see my enemy's not getting any gold, so I think he did forget to get the village upgrade. So this is a bit of a wasted opportunity, because he could have destroyed this building out of it and got some gold if he had to pillage. Eventually I am going to be taking out these Cavaliers here, but there wasn't that much gold left here, so this wasn't really that big a deal for me that he ran in here. Would have been more devastating if he ran in this direction. Oh, even though here looks like this base is also running out, so this is my final, I guess, heavily gold base. After quite some time, finally get to clean up the rest to this little tank force. And now I can finally rebuild these walls and let these cannons defend me a little better. But of course, in the meantime, my enemy begins attacking. But I did leave most of my army here. And they are slightly leveled up from that big battle here. All of these Cavaliers are a little fresh. Most of them are level 1. But of course, on top of having a small levels advantage, having all the, I guess, some potions, I do have a few apprentices, which do give me a big bonus in this fight by putting up a good amount of magic shields on my Cavaliers. Even though I did have to attack through here and have a bit terrible fight here, I do somewhat, I guess, trade somewhat evenly. But I guess because I had to move through here, your Cavaliers are going to be a little inefficient. And so the player that does an attack command while the other one is moving, the guy that has attack command is going to be usually winning the fight. So over here, I kind of have very few units left. Send first my reinforcements to try and defend myself. But I didn't forget a good handful of apprentices here. But the enemy decides to fight here anyways. Not really sure why. So he does have a terrible fight here himself, where I do get to kill most of his units here. But I guess I do decide to retreat and I guess regroup my reinforcements and my, I guess, big group of apprentices here. And I have so many of them here compared to my enemy, who has around 4 here. And so I have about double the amount. I guess around 11 apprentices, or I guess around 13, which is a whole lot. Means every single Cavalier I have is definitely gonna have a magic shield, because one apprentice can usually put around 5 magic shields, on top of also having mana for other spells. But here my enemy also has a good amount of apprentices, so I can get 20 magic shields, and they are roughly 20 Cavaliers here, so this can also work pretty well for him. It looks like all the gold is gone. It's just a single base. It's a single base of blue here. So this is gonna be coming to the final major fight. Here I decide to attack after getting a few potions. Here I begin fighting. I kind of run my Cavaliers through here, which leaves my apprentices a little vulnerable. And so my enemy decides to run through here, trying to take care of them. But of course, he only used half his army to move down here, so the other half of his army gets kind of taken care of on top. And so we're doing this little dance with our Cavaliers, trying to squeeze our foot troops, our apprentices, away from the enemy Cavaliers, and then trying to move your own Cavaliers to the front. And here I kind of had a pretty good fight, so I decided to still keep going, because I have a lot of apprentices. I can put a lot of magic shields, and so you can see here, most of these Cavaliers kind of don't have magic shields on them anymore. So I kind of take care of all of these archers here. Any reinforcements here as well. And eventually come out on top of this big battle. So my enemy is just a handful of archers. And I guess maybe he was a little busy microing. So only now he starts some Cavaliers. But I guess I was also a little slow and not producing. Maybe I was. Oh yeah, you can see I was clicking a lot with my barracks to produce. Which is why you want to have a control group of your barracks so you can produce and micro at the same time. Here you can see I arrive at his base, and even though there is an overseer trying to kill me, but I can see there's very few units left. And so that's pretty much it. Couldn't really defend his main base. On top of this group of Cavaliers, now we're going to be going to his final mining base. Let's see the results. You can see here, he managed to get, I guess, about 3,000 more gold because of those little raids he did, those Cavaliers that stopped me from mining a few times. And of course getting his expansion a little faster, so that's probably why he had a bit more gold. But you can see here he lost a few more units than me because he did kind of go a little heavier into those foot troops, those archers and footmen, so I can auto, I guess, inflate these numbers a little bit. And it was relatively, I guess, balanced fight all the way to the final fight there. And the only reason I won is because I had a whole lot more apprentices that allowed me to survive a bit longer, I guess. Anyways, if you liked the video, then leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos on Scouring Early Access, then you can subscribe. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.